So many of you may or may not have come across this name before, but will almost certainly have heard of the website that this guy particularly does run called the Guido Fawkes or the Guido Fawkes, depending on how you like to pronounce the name, Guido, Guy, or whatever. But this website ultimately really is, if you know anything about, well, Steve Bannon, the guy here, Paul Staines, is essentially the Steve Bannon of the UK. The Guido Fawkes blog is the Breitbart of the UK politosphere, shall we say? And many of you may or may not know him. We've talked briefly about him over the years, bits that he's massively screwed up, pejoratively, constantly misreporting rumors as news. Jumping the gun, reporting again rumors as facts, outright reporting misinformation about things that government officials have said. Whatever, this guy has done it. He's done the whole shebang, so to say. But in particular, recently, as you may well know, we've taken a very, very hard tack on this channel, going after people who are bizarrely claim that they are anti Russian and that they are against Putin in this horrible war that he is, perpetrating, but were incredibly buddy very recently, or are even still friends with many of, shall we say, Putin's cronies, or even friends, or even taken money from Putin in the past. And to no one's surprise, of course, it turns out that yes, he has, by the looks of it, maybe taken Russian money, as he is now bizarrely gone on a thread proclaiming that he was groomed by Russian state intelligence services. So we're going to take a look at that in a bit. But needless to say, again, rather embarrassing for him, to say the least. And quite frankly, this is someone who deserves to be embarrassed. So before we go jumping into this, please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And of course, down below, there are links to my Patreon page and a one-off link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help support the channel that way. So, on with this. So this comes from a Twitter thread of one Joe Magnan, and he is the director of the Good Law Project. Go check them out. They're very good at what they do. But he's also a barrister and, of course, a professor at the Durham School of Law. And he goes into this in great detail. Like I said, this is where we're going to be going through at the moment, because this is it's mainly suicide being reported. So, Paul Staines, aka Guido Fawkes, in his own words, he meets a man from the Russian embassy who he thinks is a spy. They go for a burger, which is absolutely a normal response to meeting someone you think is a Russian spy. And this is his own words. I first met Sergei Noblan in 2012 at Soho House. He introduced himself in an accented English as from the Russian embassy on the Ministry of Foreign Affairs orientation course before coming to London. I was told to read the Guido Fawkes blog and Private Eye. I enjoy yours more, he said flatteringly. I publish, obviously, the Guido Fawkes. And of course, a PR company had also offered me an irresistibly large fee to give a masterclass to corporate marketing types on how to use social media. So there I was, and I found myself presenting PowerPoint slides in front of a boardroom of suits with one short, heavy-set, cropped-head Russian former central casting sitting right next to me. So, again, very interesting story to begin with, but it continues. The Russian spy, Sergei Noblan, then pumps Guido for information, and they become friends. Exactly what anyone would do, obviously confronted by an agent of Putin, isn't it? He said, Paul later goes on to say this. Later, over burgers, we exchanged banter. I immediately suggested that he was a spy. He said the Cold War days were over and that Russia just wanted to be friends. Sergei just wanted to know how the website worked and how it was funded and how I got my information. He was particularly interested, of course, in any gossip he had about David Cameron and George Osborne. After that, I would see Sergei at events around Westminster. He popped up at the Tory shindig where he could network. He had a great dry sense of humour and was well aware that anyone meeting him would be suspected of being more than just an innocent political first secretary. So, yeah, exactly what you would do if you find out maybe the guy pumping you for information was a Russian spy. Oh, anyway, it continues. The Russian then invites him to a drinks party at the Russian embassy. And then the Russians start putting money into Paul Stein's business. Again, totally normal to have Russians putting money your way. He said, once I accepted his invitation to a summer reception at the Russian embassy in Kingston Gardens, which was as well as being vodka-fueled fun, was made more memorable by the former Secretary Minister Admiral Lord West chatting up my date. Soon afterwards, of course, Guido's advertising salesman told me that he had sold a 4-month advertising campaign to the Russian embassy. Very convenient. Paul Staines then also goes along to the Russian embassy and starts giving them advice. It is an event chaired by Putin's own ambassador, and it is Staines' salesman who is keen for him to go. So it is reasonable to think that Guido gets paid for this too. Again, saying another invitation came from Sergei. Would I speak at the embassy about my experience of blogging and how to encourage it in Russia? The ambassador himself would chair the meeting. Naturally, my salesman was very keen for me to accept this invitation, so I did. Again, Guido's Russian friend is indeed a Russian spy, and Guido's instincts when Guido started making friends with him turned out to be right, of course. Then saying the advertising campaign was then cancelled. Shortly afterwards, The Guardian revealed that some conservatives had gone on the Moscow trip. Sergei had reported that was the son of a Nikolai Nikoban, a KGB general who went on to be the first major figure in the FSB as the KGB successor and was Alexander Lukashenko's boss long before his death by polonium poisoning. Sergei Nalban's brother also worked for the FBS. What a surprise. Anyway, the Joe continues to say this in his tweet. So this guy, Paul Staines, aka Guido Fawkes, remains to this day the man Boris Johnson's government works very closely with. And that this story, in his words, remember that, the stuff up here you are seeing is his words on this. Obviously, Staines is notoriously indifferent to the truth, and it makes you wonder just how much worse the real story really is. It also pains me to link to the Spectator, but you can go read Paul Staines in his own words here. Again, there's a link to it here. I also like the bit where he doesn't trust himself to go to the Russia because they might take photos of what he does. Very soon afterwards, Guido's advertising salesman told me I had a 4-month advertising campaign to go to the Russian embassy. In fact, he had sold advertising on a string of political blogs from across the spectrum, and many of those bloggers went on a free trip to Moscow. I declined to go, partly because I did not want to wake up in a hotel room wondering what happened the night before and worrying if there were pictures. And of course, we also shouldn't forget that Paul Staines, via his message space entity, used to help the Russian embassy explain its foreign policy positions for money. So again, I've been on a very large trip recently that, people like George Galloway and certainly Nigel Farage should be interested and investigated, probably for their links to Russia surrounding all this and what exactly their associations actually involved and any information that they may have passed on to these people, because, well, they might have, shall we say, helped spies. And I think that they should definitely be, shall we say, treated as if they were being treasonous activities unless they can explain otherwise. And definitely Paul Staines, given in his own words, probably also needs to be added to that list as well. So, as always, Thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And also down below, there is a link to my Patreon page and an annotation link called Buy Me a Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all next time.